There are some secrets hiding inside Minecraft 1.20. There is literally a brand new structure that wasn't mentioned anywhere on the changelog for either the Bedrock preview or the Java snapshot, and yet there it is inside of the game. There is also some weird inconsistencies about the sniffer between platforms, and also, interesting enough, there is a secret at the bottom of the cherry blossom biome. There are all sorts of differences between platforms and all sorts of weird hints that only one platform will give you, and today I wanted to go through every single secret, every single parity difference, and the weirdness of the cherry blossom biome. But for now, let's start by saying yes, there is a brand new structure, and it is found in the exact same place in every single world, but you're going to want to get yourself a brush first, also known as a string pickaxe. This is definitely what it definitely should be called, because you take two sticks together, you place some string in a pickaxe formation, and you get the brush. I mean, I would personally change that recipe. I've seen lots of fun versions of it, but take this brush into a desert temple, and you'll see what I mean by a brand new area, because previously there used to be one secret of the desert temple. That was when you broke below these blocks, you'd find the chests and you'd find the pressure plate and all that fun stuff that usually explodes. But now, as well as finding that, you'll also be able to find some random sand patches. There are obviously, these things are found all over the place it seems, but the biggest ones are going to be found towards the back left and the back right of the structure. If you dig down into this, there's going to be some sand, there's going to be some suspicious sand. Honestly, you can dig it all with your shovel if you really want to. You'll find yourself a brand new place, which looks a little bit like this. So you can dig your way into this, and wow, is this a brand new room? Okay, it's very hard to see. Allow me to dig it out so you can see the place a bit better. Wow, that is a whole brand new room that I can assure you you're not going to find in your current Minecraft worlds, with a brand new, like a pattern going down beneath it. And although there's nothing below it just yet, this is clearly the hint for something brand new. Will this sometimes contain chests? I mean, it's got the same 4 locations where a chest could go as the structure down below. Will this sometimes contain extra archaeology? I mean, I found personally a piece of pottery while looking for this. This is something that is yet to be known, but there is a brand new structure attached to every single desert temple. Just to confirm, we went and tested a few different worlds, but that is still absolutely incredible, and ultimately calling it a new structure might be a push. I have heard a few people call that. I think you might be better off saying that it's a extension of the desert temple, but we don't know for sure how often these will spawn, what they'll do, etc. And for now, having an extra place that you can find basically by archaeologying is pretty darn fun. I hope they choose to do this for other structures, and I hope they have some use planned out for this, or maybe it's just a weird fun secret that makes you question Minecraft lore some more. I'm not too sure, but let's move back into the light and play Bedrock again. And there are so many differences between the two versions that I want to go through, but the most interesting one is the fact that when you brush suspicious sand on this version of the game, what happens is the block is destroyed, and if you get something, then it will appear after that is done. And there is another interesting difference. So, this is in comparison to Java, where the item kind of peeks out of the block. It looks like this, and it's honestly, some people might argue the Java version's better, but the Java version will also give you a piece of sand when you're done, whereas you will fully destroy the suspicious sand by brushing it away on the Bedrock edition. Honestly, my personal preferred version of this was the Minecraft Live version from 2020, where, you would obviously destroy the block layer by layer and eventually find something, but I think that both these systems have their own merit. But the other interesting thing is that when you are mining a block, you don't have to shake your screen from side to side to avoid breaking it. This was something that they did show at Minecraft Live. It was directly mentioned, but now instead you can just look at the block with a brush. I think this is probably an improvement for most things besides immersion. Speaking of improvements for most things besides immersion, something weird that the Java edition doesn't have, but the Bedrock edition does, is sniffers and boats. A sniffer will fit in it. I mean, honestly, this is one of those ridiculous things, that a sniffer will fit in a boat on the Bedrock edition of the game. I mean, saying he'll fit in the boat is a bit of an overstatement. In fact, though, here's the craziest thing. You can actually have 2 sniffers inside of the boat. And this is entirely okay on the Bedrock edition. If you try this on Java, it's far too big to fit. On the other hand, though, this is also something that applies to horses, and there are lots of other weird boat differences between versions. I mean, not least the fact that there's a beautiful pink boat on the Java edition, but not yet on Bedrock. We'll have to talk more about that when we come to the cherry blossom. But yeah, I do have to say, this is ridiculous, but I love it. Speaking of ridiculous things, did you know Minecraft actually differentiates between suspicious sand that was placed naturally and suspicious sand that was placed by the player in creative? This is a really interesting difference, because any suspicious sand that was placed by a player, even in creative mode, will not ever give you any real loot. even if you destroy it like that, by the way. Did you know? Has the same gravity effectiveness as sand. This is a really interesting difference to go with, and also apparently it looks like suspicious sand is not a very good block for suspicious sand to fall onto. That is a weird difference. I don't know why suspicious sand can't fall on suspicious sand. I just know that that's a very suspicious looking feature. What is also suspicious looking, okay, you know, I had to do this at some point, right? Have you ever considered what would happen if you do the good old dinner bone technique? Is it dinner bone underscore or is it just dinner bone? It's been too long. I think it's just dinner bone, right? The dinner bone technique, as it is definitely known. If you decide to do this onto a sniffer, what will happen is the most adorable looking thing I think I've ever seen. I'm gonna stack myself up just so you can see this. This is an upside down sniffer, and if you tell me there is anything cuter than this in the world, I know that you are lying to me because why? Why? Speaking of why, I wanna show you something quite cool because the brand new decorated pot, which, why is it missing corner textures? Why can I see into the pot? That is not, I don't think that's what's meant to happen. Is this Minecraft being broke? Okay, so for now, just imagine the pot texture isn't broken here on Bedrock. Is this just, it wasn't broken when I recorded the video yesterday, but yeah, if you want to see a full rundown of the features and how they're meant to work, by the way, that's yesterday's video. But there's no top texture for this, even though the block goes up there, which means you can do things like, say, place a flower pot on there. This is a little bit broken feeling, but it means that if you want to have a flower coming out of your giant pot, you can actually do so, and it looks like this. Okay, something has to be broken. I'm gonna close and open Minecraft, that'll fix it. Aha! I knew it would. When in doubt with Windows, just turn it off and on again, and it will probably fix things. It doesn't make any sense that it does, but honestly, most things don't make any sense. But yeah, let me show you another cool thing you can do. Obviously, decorated pots having the bamboo sticks coming out of them. Super cool in my opinion. I think there's so many great ways this will be used in builds, and one that I really enjoyed, because again, the block is bigger than a block, although you can still stand on it like it's not. Again, very, very odd stuff, but this means you can use it in conjunction with, say, terracotta, and you can do some pretty interesting stuff if you want to. And again, if you just look at this right here, you'll see, whoa, look, we've got like a pillar-looking block that's most of the size of a full block, but still not quite. And yeah, if you want to do that, you can place the, is that sideways or, okay, no, it's got on top of it. If you want to make some really interesting builds, you can use the decorated pots and terracotta. I actually imagine this is something they'll change. So when they added, so here's an interesting thing about archaeology. When it was added to the Java edition, they just said, here's archaeology, have fun. When it was added to the Bedrock edition changelog, they suspiciously mentioned, you know, everything's suspicious. Isn't it suspicious that you haven't subscribed to the channel yet? You're watching the video, you're presumably enjoying it, you're looking forward to learning about the weird cherry secrets. Subscribe if you like to be informed about Minecraft. This is one of my favorite things to do, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can help me do it in the future. Speaking of things you can help me do, I want to say that Mojang, ooh, there's an M here, and Mojang starts with an M. So does Minecraft. So does Microsoft. So does my reading of the changelog in Minecraft the latest beta 1.19.70.23. They specifically mention on the Bedrock changelog that they will be giving us an early look, and they're going to spend more time developing them, and they want us to let them know how they can improve and expand it. That's a pretty cool thing in my opinion. So yeah, this first version of the pots is obviously not going to stay. Hopefully there are more pottery shards or more things you can find in the archaeology system to make it more worthwhile. And something else that I think is a good idea is, at some point, given that it is such a terracotta themed block, I mean, again, don't all these blocks kind of go together? I think it would make sense that, first of all, they fix the hitboxes, but also that they add some form of dyeing or some form of secondary color at the very least. Maybe you get pottery shards in different colors. I don't know. I think there's a lot of fun ideas they could play around with, but I think that this should be a default thing, not goofing around with other blocks. I also think it's very odd that you can do things like, I don't know, like, let me show you something fun. You place down your block over here, and then you place down something on top of it that's not a full block, like a sandstone slab is a terrible, terrible example. Then now you can have, okay, that's actually a terrible example. Okay, if we use carpet instead, you can see that the carpet goes through and you get this weird kind of partial, bowl sticking out from it. I saw a really fun version of this on Reddit recently. Someone used it to make a dog bowl for their dog, and wow, what a good boy. I thought that was very cute. But what I also think is amazing is that you can use this exact same technique with redstone torches to make a bomb, or you can put wither skulls on there, and that's super fun. But something else you might not have known is that there are 2 recipes for making these decorated pots, right? There is the blank recipe and there is the pottery shard recipe, but you can actually mix and match these if you want. So if you really want to, you can have the arms up pottery shard be the front and then let's say the back, and then you can have just plain old bricks be the sides. And what this will actually craft, if you don't mess it up like I just did, what this will actually make for you is a decorated pot where the front and back will actually be the arms up. And then you can take this a step further if you want to, and you can make specific sides be blank or not blank. So for example, you could have the skull, or you can have any thing you want, like be on one particular side and then be blank on the others. You've got all sorts of weird options for mix and matching, which I really, really love as a way to make a decorated pot, even if you've only found 1 shard. Also, I absolutely have to mention this because there is a prize pottery shard, which looks like this when placed down, and you can actually place the dragon egg on top of it, and I think it looks so perfect to use the dragon egg as your prize. And I'm just saying, there are so many options the pottery shards are going to open up, and that is something for another video because it's a weird and janky feature that results in some really interesting results. Speaking of feeling janky, one of the things that players used to do before 1.20 was make their own cherry blossom trees. The only easy way to do this was to use pink wool, which obviously by comparison to the new cherry blossom biome is just staggering how terrible this looks by comparison to that. However, even though this new biome looks amazing and it's one of the most excitements I've ever seen for a new biome, first of all, I think it's actually a biome a lot of people don't know the secrets of. One is the fact that you can find emerald ore around here. You might be lucky and find it. 2 is the fact that not only can you find pigs and chickens, but you can also find rabbits here. We have a brand new biome in which you can find rabbits, as well as these weird brand new pink petals, by the way, which spawn in such large numbers I don't even know like how or what you'd use them for. It's very, very intriguing as an idea. If you have great ideas for builds for this, I'd love to hear about them. But yeah, there is a whole biome here filled with emeralds and rabbits and brand new pink blocks. But personally, I think the thing that really holds up this biome for most people is actually just the brand new leaves. I mean, the pink wood is amazing, and that is a whole new subsection of Minecraft I love. I mean, seriously, look at this block and tell me it's not amazing. But I think what really holds this entire biome are these new cherry leaves, and to prove that, I wanted to do one of my favorite things, which is around with brand new Minecraft blocks. By the way, I've got a funny thing. I shouldn't have said the word around. I have learned from YouTube captions. I've got a whole fun story about that, but first I want to show you how this entire forest right here, wow, looks kind of bland and boring, right? Imagine what it would be like if the leaves were fun. Wow, isn't it looking better already? I think you'll find it is. Isn't this forest delightful? I mean, sure, there are still birch trees here, ruining the place, but otherwise, super, super nice, right? Now imagine we have a jungle. Okay, it's looking kind of bland. There's too much green happening here all at once, but imagine it was Sakura season in Japan. The pink blossom season in Japan. Well then, wow, there'd be so much more detail and it looks so much better, right? And I guess to prove the point in the inverse, this is what a cherry blossom biome looks like with oak leaves instead. Honestly, I assumed that it would look really ugly, but because of the pink flowers on the ground, it actually does work quite well. The new wood and the new tree type does kind of hold up. So I guess, honestly, the pink leaves are amazing and can make any other biome look better, but also the trees themselves are pretty good. I do have to, I was expecting, and I'm totally willing to admit when I'm, mistaken or wrong or have made a mistake here, I was going to say that, honestly, the cherry leaves hold this whole biome up. I don't think that's actually true. I think if you look at this thing, you can see it's a really interesting place with or without that difference. Obviously, the emeralds and the ability to find rabbits make this place a little bit more special, but I think if this was any other colored biome, people would, and it had been announced way before, people would say, isn't this a bit dull? Don't we need a brand new structure? Shouldn't the cherry leaves be dropping cherries? But because this came out of nowhere as a surprise, people are super excited. Except it didn't come out of nowhere as a surprise if you're a Bedrock player. This brand new cherry blossom biome, which is not very, or cherry grove biome, which is not very cherry-ish if you replace the leaves, as it turns out. But this brand new biome is, interestingly enough, not available on Bedrock yet. I mentioned this in my video covering the latest features yesterday, and I just want to correct something. A few people misunderstood that as saying it won't come to Bedrock before 1.20. It'll be after that update. No, there'll be a later Bedrock beta that adds this. It's just there's some current technical issues that need to be addressed. I would love to know what those technical issues are, but it's not currently public. So instead, I can just build around with cherry planks and cherry blossom, but exclusively here on the Java edition. I really love to play around with new blocks and to see how things look when you replace them, and this is one of the weird conclusions off that. If you loved it, then I'd really appreciate if you consider hitting the bell. It means you have a higher likelihood of seeing my future videos, so you can stay more informed about the latest Minecraft features, and if I'm being honest, slightly more people have a higher chance of watching a video if they're interested in it. I think it's a win-win, and if you do as well, I'd appreciate that, but I'd also just appreciate saying, you watched this video, I am glad you did, and I'm also glad that we have some new exciting stuff in Minecraft. I like excitement season, and I'm glad we're in the midst of it, so I look forward to seeing you when more stuff is announced, because it looks like we'll be seeing some more archaeology stuff, as well as maybe some stuff with those flowers from the Sniffer, so I'll let you know as soon as that happens, and also whatever else is announced. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Why have I been walking backwards for so long? You know, this is just how I walk now. Hope you enjoyed. Bye. Oh, just to cut myself off real quick, I wanted to talk about something ridiculous YouTube did this week, because last week I got demonetized on my archaeology video. I rarely get demonetized on this channel because I don't really talk about controversial events. I don't really swear while talking about controversial events, which means that it's advertiser friendly as far as YouTube's concerned, but not that video. I couldn't work out why it would be demonetized, so I asked for a human to review it, and they said there was profanity in the first 20 seconds. And first of all, it's a ridiculous rule that you can swear in a video, but not in the first 20 seconds. That is f***ing ridiculous. I'm glad that's censored, but I do think that it's worth mentioning that the reason it got demonetized, I couldn't work it out, was that it had some swear words in the intro that it didn't, and the only reason they thought it did, Harrison worked this out, was apparently in the YouTube auto-generated subtitles, instead of saying dig site, it says dick site. So a human didn't review it, a human read the captions and went, you can't say the word dick site, but I'm gonna say the word dick site right now. Do you wanna go to the dick site and find yourself some brand new suspicious sand? It sure is sus what you find at the dick site. There we go. Apparently it's not the first 20 seconds, so I can say that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate you all coming along with the news journey. Obviously, this has been in a lot of interesting places this week, but thank you for staying tuned, and I hope you enjoyed these 1.20 secrets, and indeed, the rest of what's happening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.